So most people think that they are overthinkers or that they are always worried about something because they lack clarity in their minds. So to get around that, they feel that they need to think even more to actually get clearer about the answer that they are actually looking for. But in my experience, people overthink because they do not trust where their clarity or where the answers are actually coming from. But the thing is, your body always knows first. Your body always knows the answer before words can form, before logic actually takes hold in your mind, before you actually construct the perfect reason. Your body already has the answer. And if you are in tune with your body, okay, and in tune with how your body and yourself, your inner self is actually giving you the answers, you wouldn't have the need to overthink. The problem, however, is that it isn't really that our bodies are unclear or that our minds are unclear, is that we have been so trained to override the signals that our body is actually giving us. So what do? We listen instead to, urgency. We listen to logic without any sort of nervous system regulation. We listen a lot to mental explanations layered on top of physical signals. Okay, so the intuition that you've probably heard of, and some people can actually tap on the inner knowing, the wisdom, the higher order wisdom, all that gets drowned in all these um cognitive and logical explanations. The problem isn't that our body is actually unclear or unsure of giving us the right answers. Our body actually always knows. The problem is we have been trained to override our body and to override our nervous system. So many of us, we are actually not very in tune with ourselves, our higher selves, our wisdom, and our intuition, because we have been so wired to actually, just go on, making decisions just based on pure logic, or, listening to urgency, okay, without really, listening or really paying attention to how regulated our nervous systems are, and, the physical signals our body is actually giving when we are thinking about a specific decision. So overthinking is not so much about thinking itself. It's not so much the act of thinking. It's actually a form of delayed listening. Okay, it's about refusing to hear what you already know and what is already present in your nervous system. Okay, it's also a very huge sign of muddled intuition. Okay, so your inner knowing gets really clouded when you prioritize the mental noise in your head and all the external noise, people telling you what to do, the things you are reading about online and on social media. All of that gets into your head and it muddles your intuition and it muddles your sense of self. So you do not know, or you get really, really confused over what you're supposed to be doing when actually your body has been giving you the signals and the signs and the sensations throughout this entire process. Okay, and overthinking is also a sign of disconnection. So it signals, okay, that you actually don't know yourself very well yet. And it actually signals that you do not trust yourself very, very much yet. So you trust your mind, which is most of the time disconnected from our nervous system and our bodies. You trust an external opinion, you trust external people and sources, but you do not really trust yourself. And it's amazing because many of us, okay, we go through our lives without actually really trusting ourselves, and listening too much to sources that may not have our best intentions at heart. So in the kind of diagnostic framework that I work with, the body is not like this emotional noise. So it's not being like annoying or whatever. It's not something to be managed or ignored. Okay, it's a decision making intelligence system, one that actually communicates and speaks through sensation, through tension, through expansion, contraction, heat, heaviness. Okay, it speaks in elemental archetypal language. So when you learn to recognize these patterns in yourself, you start to unlock a more embodied way of navigating your own life. Okay, so let me give you a couple of examples. So there are five different archetypal energy archetypal states, okay, that some of us might have all of them, some might only have some, and certain people only have one or two archetypes. Okay, that's just how it is, okay, depending on the day that we were born. So if you're kind of a wood archetype, you're probably someone who feels quite a bit of pressure sometimes, okay, because wood is all about, when you think of a huge tree or a growing vine that is snaking up the wall, um, wood archetypes are always thinking about growth. Okay, it's just what kind of a wood you are. You know, there are trees and there are vines, right? But you're always moving upwards. So there's a restless need to actually push through, to actually literally grow out of your current environment, and to really act in a way that benefits you know, this bigger purpose that you're actually seeking. So for wood, um, when you overthink, you can feel quite a bit of stress or restlessness. Or when if you're an archetype, a wood archetype, you will probably also feel very, very stagnant and very burdened in places which has very, very heavy metal or earth archetype kind of energy. Okay, so something to actually keep in mind. The second type of archetype is the fire archetype. Okay, this archetype is, you know, they're all about the excitement, you know, about the urgency, the heat, the passion, the racing thoughts. Okay, they always feel this draw or this pull towards being creative and expressing themselves. But sometimes this also tips into you know, lashing out, having temper tantrums, you know, impulsivity, and yeah, that racing, you know, racing heart kind of feeling, the racing thoughts as well. The earth archetype people, okay, earth is very stable and can contain a lot of things, you know, think about the soil beneath your feet. But when earth is in an overthinking space, it can feel really heavy, you know, like looping thoughts, over, you know, intrusive thoughts, rumination. It can also feel like over responsibility, like you want to go off and live your life, but you're constantly circling back to the responsibilities that you have and feeling very, very, you know, held down and very burdened by them. The earth archetype, okay, in a very unbalanced state as well, can be the types of people that you probably have seen before. They may actually feel sluggish, you know, they may be a little bit stubborn or very stubborn depending on the situation, very stubborn in certain you know, environments, and very slow, you know, like you're carrying along a lot of weight. The metal archetype, thing about metal is all about, like, you know, your metal fences, your jewelry. Metal is all about cutting something in terms of the environment, you know, points towards boundaries. So when metal is overthinking, it can also cause quite a bit of unbalance. Okay, again, there can be a contraction where a metal archetype sort of person actually shrinks into their own world, stays in their room, not come out, you know, feels a lot of grief, um, pulls back emotionally from the people around them, from the things they like doing. Metal types also tend to actually put a lot of distance between themselves as well as the situation or the person that they are actually unhappy about. And with metal, okay, there's always that verbal fire, okay? So it can show up as sarcasm, okay, as verbal sharpness or internal pressure. Metal types, yeah, I know, and I have quite a bit of I'm a bit of a metal archetype myself. We can feel a lot of internal pressure, okay, to do something, to say something, to control our environment. So that can show up when you're overthinking or where you're in a very anxious state. Last but not least, the water archetypes. Water, think about, you know, the water that comes from your tap, the rivers and the oceans that flow, the bigger bodies of water. When you think of water, what do you think of? Flow, you know, adaptation, going from one place to another without changing, you know, much of its core character, you know, but changing its shape, but not so much of its core character. So a lot of adaptation and flow. The downside of this is that water, you know, the flow can also bring about quite a bit of fear, okay, of hypervigilance or of anxiety, because you're flowing everywhere at once, but you don't have any clear direction unless you have quite a bit of metal or earth in your chart. Water can also freeze over. Okay, so thinking of your thoughts freezing, your body freezing, going into catatonic mode, complete stillness, and an inner kind of collapse. Okay, so none of these are actually states are actually wrong. These are some of the archetypes that all of us are possessed, like I said, in certain amounts of each, and sometimes we don't have all of these archetypes in our, in ourselves. None of these states are actually wrong. They're actually information for yourself. Okay, signals from your inner system and your nervous system telling you that you need to go within and listen to yourself a little bit more, and perhaps the situation or the person that you're with or decision you're making may not be for your highest good. What happens then when we don't listen to ourselves and our bodies early on? The thing is that when we ignore very early signals, our energy can spiral out of control. So instead of responding to, like, the stress, or when like your body feels very tensed and very tired, you ignore it. Okay, you allow things to carry on until you burn out. Okay, instead of responding to hesitation, sometimes, like when you're about to go on a date with someone that you do not know, like a blind date, or you're about to go for a interview and you just feel really really hesitant but you do not know why. If pushing through sometimes can actually cause quite a bit of panic when things actually happen. Then there's another type of, when your energy actually spirals out of control. Another type of thing that can actually happen is that instead of slowing down at the first signs of your, your body actually telling you that something is not quite right, we then, just go into overdrive. And okay, so decision making feels exhausting because we consult our bodies last. We do not consult or listen to our bodies first. Okay, and you may have come across like certain stories or incidents or case studies where people actually tell you that or they actually had this feeling before they went to meet someone, or they actually had this thing where they actually felt a little bit scared before they actually went to a certain place, or been in a certain situation, and their intuition or their bodies actually saved them from making the decision that could have been pretty tragic. I think it was the book called The Gift of Fear, I think, that came up quite a number of years ago. And while I find some of the I haven't really finished reading all of it, but I found some of the stories inside to be actually quite enlightening in some ways, because some of the people that was interviewed or were featured in the cases were actually they already had some form of a warning signal sometimes from their bodies before they actually decided to ignore it and something really bad happens. So this is what I mean by listening to your body and listening to yourself, because if something is about to go wrong, okay, your body will actually be shouting at you. So let's try this, intuition practice for a little moment. So you can pause whatever you're doing for a moment here, wherever you are sitting. Okay, I hope you're not driving. Okay, if you're driving, please do this later. Wherever you are now, I hope you're safe and comfortable. Soften your gaze. Okay, just soften your gaze, close your eyes. Notice your breath. Don't change it. Don't start like slowing your breath down, or, um, allowing it to pick up, but just notice how you're breathing. Then scan your body gently from your forehead or your top of your head to your toes. I tend to do these body scans quite slowly. So, and it may be something that you're not used to at the beginning, and that's okay. You can do a quick scan, but you can do this practice again where you can do a much slower type of scan and you go like different layers and levels of your body, and then ask yourself these questions. Is there pressure or tension anywhere? How does each layer or level of your body feel? Is it heavy? Is it hot? Does it feel very tight? And importantly, are you holding your breath? Many of us, you and me included, we always do not breathe well. This is why breath work is such a big thing in, so many wellness spaces, but many of us do not breathe correctly. We do not breathe deeply as well. we always tend to hold our breaths. And when you hold your breath, you're actually holding the tension and the stress in your body. By letting it out, breathing in deeply and then really letting out your breath, it just feels so good to the body because it's kind of a, it's a nervous system relaxation. So don't overinterpret or, get too much into like why your body is feeling a certain way. Don't try to fix it as well. Just listen to it and take note of the sensations. The sensations are actually already the answer for you. So if you're feeling tense, like me right now, I'm feeling really tense in my neck and my shoulders. What is it actually trying to tell me? Is it stress? Is it I'm not I need to invest in a proper chair. I need to sleep in a proper position. These are things, but don't go into the analysis you know part now. Just name it. Just feel where your body is actually giving you certain sensations. So, what you are just done is a practice in somatic clarity. Somatic clarity, it doesn't really arrive as a feeling, okay? Sorry, it doesn't arrive as like a sentence. It arrives as a feeling somewhere in your body. Okay, so when a decision is very aligned with who you are, your higher self, and the real you, your body doesn't feel tensed. It doesn't feel like it has to rush. It doesn't feel like you don't have the heart palpitations or the sinking feeling in your gut. You won't have things like that. And it doesn't start to argue with you. So when you have all these like, sensations, when you're having a racing, a very, very racing heart, we have racing thoughts, um, you have a very queasy sensation in your stomach, all these things are actually data points, and it's actually your body telling you that something's not quite right with the situation that you are in or the situation that you're approaching. When your decision is aligned to your body is very still. It's very quiet, very calm, and relaxed. Okay? Stillness, calmness, and softness are signs that your body is actually in alignment with whatever is present in your life and that your body is actually okay with your decisions. This is how you actually start to build your intuition and the connection, the stronger connection with your inner self, your and to build the sense of trust that you have in yourself. And trust is not really built by forcing yourself to constantly act on things that your mind actually, tells you. Okay, it's about listening first. Okay, it's about listening, keeping quiet and listening to what your body is telling you and doing a body scan like what we did just now. The second thing is noticing where it was, where what kind of sensations your body is actually giving. What kind of signals? Okay. Is it a good signal? Is it a not so good signal? Is your body in alignment with your thoughts and your decisions? Okay. Um, when it is aligned, okay, you would act from alignment and you wouldn't be needing to actually force yourself to do something or go against your body and your nervous system um, if the decision is right. Okay, so repeat this process over and over again because trust, intuition, knowing yourself better, building that connection, it deepens through practice. So again and again, do it over and over again, practice it. Start to listen to your body. Okay, your body is always giving you hints and signals, okay, about your life experiences. So I want to end off by, telling you that I've been repeating this in every single slide, but your body is the blueprint. Okay, it is the blueprint through which your life is meant to be designed. And when you learn to listen, like really, really listen to what your body is actually telling you will discover that clarity, okay, that inner clarity and that clearness and soundness of mind, it wasn't really missing. It was just buried under layers of all that, noise from external parties, from social media, from all the information you're taking in all throughout the day, and from the noise that your mind itself actually generates on its own. Is buried under that. Okay, it's waiting for you to unearth this side of yourself, to unearth your intuition. Okay, I can help you do that. I can help you design a life that is meant for you, a life that you truly desire based on your five different archetypes. Okay, so like I explained earlier, different archetypes have different energies. Okay, they have different energy fields, different magnetic fields, and they process stress and intuition in a very different way. So if you want to know how to build that inner connection better with yourself, your body, your thoughts, start from your energy archetypes. Start from really, really understanding yourself. And when you really understand yourself and the map of your energy, you start to really understand and be aware of how you are actually um, relationship with your body as well as your relationship with intuition and build on more strongly onto that. So right now I'm offering one-on-one energy archetype mapping consultations. So the description is down in the box below. I also have other diagnostic tools that and books that are coming out, which is a combination of listening to your intuition, nervous system regulation, as well as energy archetype mapping. So do look out for that, and I will link them all down below when it is ready. This is Sonia signing off. So I hope that this video was useful to you in some way, and I will be back again in the next video. See you then.